Hello, welcome to another episode of Natural One, the tabletop role-playing game where I talk about the role-playing game. Today we're going to do some a character creation demo. So that'll be kind of fun. Obviously, with all RPGs, character creation is paramount, and this RPG, character creation is probably um, the biggest thing for a new player to
Oh,
undertake. So we have Paint Monkey Justin with us. Go ahead and we're gonna create a character, his character that he can use on further demo streams and demo sessions and whatnot. So yeah, we'll be doing that on the Google Sheets. So uh, Justin is the pink squares. He'll be in the pink box, and I'll be in the blue box. Just everybody's aware of what's going on there. I thought it'd also be fun, if some of you out there that are interested in playing this game create characters and join in on demo sessions. Because and just to sweeten the deal, if you do so, um, after you finish sessions, you'll get skill points to then basically up, upgrade your character, and then you can keep on playing them until I kill him, and then you can create another one and bring him into demo sessions.
skill points for just existing.
It'll be perfect because I mean, the version at this point in time, the version of the book is 0.44. We're at V.44. So we're nowhere close to version 1 yet, but there's plenty to go over already. It's I don't imagine it changed too much by the time it's released. It could, at this point in time, it's really just about testing all the different stuff. So I do take care of the character development in this game. That's basically the majority of it is character development. Keep
Right.
that right.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's one of my favorite selling points of this system so far, and I think it kind of lends to what I was talking to you about maybe a couple hours prior, about the idea that I'm kind of bringing to the table today. So kind of launching that for a second.
Yeah, yeah. So what kind of
So
character are we going to create today?
I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it a little bit more, and I think I'm gonna kind of launch into this from the perspective of D&D for a second, just to kind of, I think because it's really I think mostly because I think it's really important to show this contrast. How this would be really 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 difficult to do in fifth edition,
Hmm.
to the point where it's not even it just wouldn't be fun, to try and
Right.
do it this way, try and do it.
Right, because it's not going to
But
be what you want exactly.
exactly.
Right.
So my idea that I kind of told you was, I'm a DM and I primarily run DM situations, but I was kind of thought that really, in some ways, I'm also a player too, and I felt like my player was just kind of really just telling a story, kind of like a narrator. And I thought, well, that sounds like a bard. So I thought, yeah, well, maybe I should just be a bard.
Right.
Like
Okay.
a bard DM, and he's kind of telling his story to whoever he wants to tell it to in the future, reflecting on the past. You
Right.
know,
Right. Okay.
um, the problem really is it's okay. So yeah, I mean, bard's a bard, right? Whatever. Okay.
Well,
Um,
bards.
but
When I was growing up, bards didn't have healing stuff. Now bards are even part
yeah,
cleric.
yeah, and bards are kind of definitely this very weird amalgamation of several different things, which I think is why a lot of people are attracted to them because
Hmm.
they are that jack of all trades thing going on. You got some roguery, you've got some magic, you've got some kind of player role playing charisma. Um, you know, they also can do a lot of damage if you kind of choose the right bard college. But all
Right.
that
Yeah.
aside,
Blade
you
bards.
know, blade bards exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
they
played a
can
blade
really do
bard
almost
back in the day. This it was pretty sick actually.
yeah.
I remember
Uh,
flying. I had flying and mirror image and stone skin on, and then would throw daggers from over.
What?
And then
Wow.
that's when I was throwing daggers, and then I had obviously I could go into close hand to hand combat too, and
Jeez.
this killer sheath that you kept a sword in it, and for every day that you kept a sword in it, it gained a +1 to hit and a +1 to damage.
Oh, that's
So
sickening.
like you just leave it in there for a while, and that's what I do. I'd leave one in there for like weeks, and then what would happen is you pull it out and you use it, and then it would shatter in that it'd break
You know,
basically.
I think they make creams and lotions to prevent against that. To make it last a little bit longer.
Okay, so uh, well, with the start of any character, what are you considering rate for your race? Because this is going to be a fantasy character, and
Well,
in natural. Go ahead.
hold on one second, because I still want to make my original point about
Oh,
why I'm
okay,
really
okay.
excited for this system. Is like I said, the uh, the concept is he's a storyteller,
Okay.
um, but he's also kind of got this sorcerer vibe to him. So it's really like the way I was envisioning him. He'd have to be a multi-class in
Hmm.
fifth edition as a bard, in a wizard or sorcerer or something like that. Just to kind of
In
check all
natural
these
one, I
elements.
mean, you're always a multi class basically because
Yeah, exactly. But you're
all the
not
different
doing it.
triads are basically like little mini classes that you kind of piece together.
Yes,
You know.
exactly. However, in fifth edition, when you do that, it's not like it doesn't penalize. It doesn't really penalize you, but it just becomes more constricted. And I feel like it starts getting kind of messy. And they even say, like, in the book, like, don't multi-class too many times, or you're just gonna kind of run yourself into the ground.
Hmm.
Um, so that you can't do these cool, complex ideas, and that's so. What I'm presenting here today is like the archetype, which I'm going to lead into. He is a bard who has, and I'm going with the academic side of things as opposed to the musical side of things. He's kind of he's a bit of a history buff. He might have had some kind of
Shh.
adventuring skills back in the day when I'm playing him as a true DM. He's older looking back on his life. When I'm playing him as a character, he's a little bit younger in life. Um, but he has some intelligence. He has some charisma. It's like he's kind of like this blend of a smart guy who likes history and likes telling these stories. If that makes any
Hmm.
sense.
Okay. Well. Uh. Let's do it then, man.
Let's do it.
Let's
Okay,
do
so
it. You
race.
got options with character creation in natural one. I'm fairly
Right.
certain we're going to be able to do this. Now, before we did this, I kind of got an idea of what you were going for, so I could get some ideas to
Right.
for the spell casting element. I think it's gonna take. Um, I mean, we had high, so we have a little monkey with us today
Wait,
briefly.
what?
So
Oh, a little monkey.
yeah, my son's right here. He's
Oh,
watching
okay. I've been doing good about no cursing.
me. I always got monkey. So, so I thought, hold on here, buddy. Never fails. Never fails. Yeah, it looks different. Here, hold on. Here, you can come around here. Here, move, move. One moment. Technical difficulties here. You can sit right there. We're gonna make a character, okay? We're gonna make his character.
Indeed.
Okay. So, so for your spellcasting ability, there's a couple options. Um, you know, we had talked possibly doing archaic spells. The archaic school, which has 3 schools in it, or
Hmm.
the archaic discipline of spells, has 3 schools
Hmm.
in it. Has divination, illusion, and enchantment, which is like your sort of core magic, spell casting, the sort of things. But I
Right.
also thought it would be kind of interesting to encompass the bardiness or the jack of all trades. What about a scrollcaster? Scrollcasting in Natural One basically gives you access to uh, any any um,
Yeah, as long as it's written
spells,
down.
magic, or powers. You know, if you have
Right.
the scroll and you can read it, you can cast. Yeah, I mean, you have to specialize for scrollcasting. You have to specialize in spells, and you have to specialize in magic or powers. But after time, you can get all three of those. You can specialize in all three of those.
Right. I think actually that is that's actually a really that's
I'm
actually
not.
a really
I'm,
great idea.
okay, I'm not going to be able to do that for you. Right? You want strawberry oatmeal right now. You go upstairs. When I'm done with the stream, I'll make you some strawberry oatmeal. Okay? All right. All right. Perfect. Yeah, you're always a good friend. Yes, you can have oatmeal. I'll make you some oatmeal later. Okay. No, you can't make it by yourself. You're gonna have to wait. Okay. I should have made oatmeal before I got in here.
Hey, do you want to just kind of take a short, quick break here so that we don't kind of before we launch into this, or what do you want to do?
No, I want to launch into it. This guy
Okay.
is not going to be disruptive anymore, right? Okay, thank you. So it's going to be impossible, I think.
So
Oh well, we're just going to go into it. Okay,
okay.
I will make you oatmeal after this is done. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. Yes. He's just it's cool. It's cool. All right. So let's start with you. Do you know what your character's name is? Oh, would you put that in?
Um, I kind of do. I would like to have a full name, nomen and cognomen, as it were. I think I'm gonna go with, and this is gonna be a son of a bitch. I'm just gonna type it in
Yeah,
because
you can do all that. You can do all that. Have you thought about race?
I think about
Human.
race. Um, I'm probably leaning human, but there's also part of me that wouldn't mind half elf, um, or maybe even elf.
Okay,
I
so
need to
somewhere in
let's
that range.
Yeah, I need to look up. Why don't we look up, or I'm gonna pull up the
Yeah, we can do this. We are
yeah, let's do it. Pull
we're
up the
doing.
DOS guide.
Okay. All right, fantasy. Oh, wait, no, that'd be too. That's how he wins. Okay, but you have to be quiet. Okay. All right. Oh, so here is the fantasy
Look,
guide. Fantasy campaign guide is what's going to have all your races for the fantasy campaign stuff, right? And
yeah,
when I when I did this, I basically designed each race using this system, this race builder that I made. So you can make other
mm,
races too. Um, I'm probably at some. I did this a long time ago, so at some point in time, I'm going to probably go back and redesign this a little bit. It'll be still relatively the same, but
right.
a lot has changed since then. So I basically have, you know, obviously there's human characters, and what human characters get are just plus 10 character points at character creation.
And then but then there was this chart down there at the bottom. Was that for building your own race, or was that for?
You have to, Eddie. We're doing this right now. I remember this. Here you go. Okay. You want to paint them right now? Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna get him some paint real quick.
Take a quick break here.
No, I'm just, it's fine. It's fine. People are just gonna have to fast forward right now. Mm, what color paint you can be any it can be any color you want. The dragon can be any whatever color you want. You made a blue wolf. Now you want to make a blue dragon? Here, here. How about this? Yeah. Okay, but you have to paint quiet. Okay. Hey. Okay. All right. All right. So humans get plus. Back to it now.
Yes.
Stop fast forwarding.
Okay. Great. So humans,
This is my
they
line.
get plus,
So,
they get plus 10 CP. But
uh,
then one page down, there's this list of things you can buy. Like that's for a
basically, yeah,
race.
that's how it starts, and then you can. So if uh, you basically create races by buying down those. I use the character points as like a standard, you know,
Yeah,
um, to do the race building stuff. So
yeah.
and then you can get more character points by taking limitations for your race, right?
Oh man. Yeah.
So yeah, so the idea is that a lot of these things they have, just like in D&D or Pathfinder, different races have both bonuses and penalties, limitations, so or hindrances of some sort.
Right.
But and also it made it easy for me to create multiple different kinds of races. So I made sure that each sort of quote unquote good race. I made sure you need a yellow also.
Uh,
Okay. Well, yellow and blue makes green. You know that, right? Okay. So I made sure that basically for every quote unquote good race or fantasy race, there was an evil fantasy race. So if you wanted to make like an evil campaign, uh, that's totally possible with
yeah.
quote unquote evil,
Right.
races,
Right.
right? Or you can have some
Right.
mismatch, or you make your own, or whatever. I don't.
Absolutely.
So that's
So,
like I said, in Natural One, you got options. You got all the options. That's basically what I'm gunning for with this system. So let's look at the difference between elf, uh, human, and half elf. So elves are really cool um, in that they have access to the esoteric creature triad. So creature
yeah.
triads you don't normally have access to,
Right.
actually. Some of the different races in the game have access. For instance, imps have access to the demonic creature triad.
Hmm.
Fey folk have access to the flora creature triad. Half giants have access to the giants creature triad. Just like so that's one way to differentiate those guys. Only they can do those things, right?
Right.
So this is great. Esoteric Creature Triad has a number of arcane skills in it, namely Channel, which basically is a reaction where you take, half the power, some of the power of an incoming arcane primary action or whatever action, and then you
Hmm.
channel it back into your own arcane casting, um,
Okay.
which is kind of neat.
That's
It
neat.
also has
Yeah.
Ward, which is basically another arcane reaction or a reaction for arcane stuff, where if there's some effect, you can cast ward, and it basically nullifies the effect, which is pretty potent. And there's feats where you can combine both channeling and ward together. So you ward off the remaining effect, and then you channel the rest. So they can do that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another cool thing
Absolutely.
about it is um, arcane effects that have a duration that is concentration. So it takes concentration to maintain the duration of the effect.
Hmm.
There's a skill called innate. There's a skill called innate where you can, I believe, combo that with a primary action that's going to result in you concentrating like that, and then
Hmm.
you innately are concentrate. You innately have that effect on, and you don't have to concentrate at all.
Right.
So it's pretty powerful. So
Right.
elves in general are just better at spell casting in general. One of the they have a couple bad things. Their encumbrance and forces are reduced by 2 steps, so they can't have as much armor. They're usually wearing elven stuff, which is lighter in material and whatnot. Um, the strength saves have a 3-step penalty. Disease saves has a -2-step penalty, and when it comes to their attributes, they get a bonus to intelligence and dexterity,
Hmm.
but they get a minus to their constitution and strength. Um,
So I'm going to kind of regurgitate a couple of these things here about the pros and cons going elf here, right?
yeah.
At least underneath my desires here. Um, the esoteric creature trial is actually kind of interesting
Hmm.
because if I used it correctly, it could actually act as my defense mechanism, really. With maybe a ward or a channel or some sort of ability. Um, this does so that might not necessarily be a bad thing, you know. It also might sound like it might give me a couple of cool things to play with, The
Yeah, and that
uh,
it also costs. It gives you access to the esoteric creature triad. To purchase a creature triad costs 8 character points. To purchase a normal triad costs 4 character points. So
so
it
it's a
gives you access
heavy
to it.
investment,
So while at character creation you get 6 triads for free, that's
right?
considering that they're 4. So it's going to cost you 4 character points to also purchase the esoteric creature triad.
Understood. So I
So
mean,
it's an
I
investment,
it's an investment, right? Yeah,
because those
absolutely.
those skills are powerful skills. I wanted the creature skills to be slightly overpowered in comparison to any of the regular triad skills.
I understand.
Little bit,
Um,
little overpowered,
the intelligence, dexterity, not necessarily a bad thing, Um,
right?
those definitely kind of place someone into a bard, and not having the con strength, that's okay. That's again not completely, um, you know, against what I'm looking at. So
Right.
I think this is like a solid B B minus on the grading scale. He definitely
Elf,
think
elf
elf.
is this? You're strongly considering elf.
Yeah, I'd say I'm like 50-50 on it, but
There's all that guts. Okay, so are you going to be 33, 33, 34 at some point in time? Here, let's
well,
take a look.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
take a
right,
look at.
exactly.
Here's half elf. Half elf. They still have the -1 con,
Mhm.
and +1 perception.
The trade discipline tribe
Um,
though is
but
what might win the day here.
right, so what you're getting is a +1. So you basically pick a trade, and everything in that trade is going to get a +1 step bonus.
I tell you, man, I think this screams Bard. One, because you're getting the extra CP to play with, to
Hmm.
design it how you need it. Then that trade discipline, I mean, the bars are designed around trades.
Right.
That's all it is.
It would probably go
Uh,
into your artistry. You're most likely going to be in performing arts. You'll have that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I think, you know what, man? I'm gonna execute half elf right now. I'm feeling really good about this.
Really? Okay, okay. Let's do that. Okay, so let's go very quickly. So we have been you don't you, people might not realize this. What I'm using is if you go and download the book, and I should have made a point of this at the beginning. Okay, so that's not nice. Okay, you shouldn't flick people's ears when they're trying to do something. No matter how much you think that is, entertaining, it's not. So what I want you to do right now is because you're being disruptive, is you have to go upstairs right now. Go, go. I would fully happy having you down here painting and whatnot, but you can't be disruptive. Okay, you have to go upstairs. I'll make you strawberry oatmeal when I get done. Okay, it's going to be a long time, but not as long as if you're still down here. Because if you're down here, it's going to take much longer.
But
No, you already missed out that chance. So if you want to be down here, you have to be not disruptive. Okay. All right. So flicking my ear. I'm okay. I can deal with this. This is that's
oh
fine.
yeah, yeah.
You start flicking the ear, man. Mm-mm. No, sorry, buddy. So
We're gonna roll with half elf.
half elf.
Let
What
me
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
what I was gonna say before my ears were flicked
Yes.
is what was I gonna say? So this thing that we're using here to make your character is the dynamic character creator. It's in the download for the book, the PDF book. And it is very powerful. I'm just going to take us through a little bit of this and show you guys. So first off, well, you guys can't see the font. Let me hold on here. Hold on here. Let me move this. We're just going to move this up. Nobody needs to see this. Whoops. Go. There. That's fine. That way you can see the tabs. Sorry about that.
No problem, man.
Okay, so tabs. You got tabs. We got lots of tabs. We got tons of tabs here on this sheet. So the character sheet, for the most part, though, is car, equipment, and triad. So the equipment is basically equipment sheet. Automatically tally up your total weight and everything like that. Triads is where we're going to put the triads, and then there's the actual list of triads here. And so basically, the idea is that we would just grab, copy, and paste one of these things into these slots, right? And that's as simple as that gets. So each of the triads are listed here: the trade triads, fancy triads, creature triads, and then we also have all the feats are listed. These are all the feats in the game. In the core rulebook, there's 280 feats in the core rulebook.
Wow.
Right? And then here's in the fantasy guide. There's another 81 feats in the fantasy guide. And then there will be more feats for the creature creation as well. But here's where we have racial characteristics. So what you can do is you can go in here. We're going to grab half elf characteristics, copy, and then we're going to slide back over to the car sheet. And then down here, we're going to go to the racial bonus and then click on that, paste. It goes right in there. So now this says you get +5 CP. So we'll go over to total, change that from 75 to 80. Okay, you also get a +1 con perception and -1 con. We're gonna go up here. So we have to decide how you like go into the equation, and so that basically now we'll keep track of the bonuses then in the equation. That and then it tallies it right there. That way, I can always click on that and be like, "Oh, hey, look, this is all the bonuses that I've gotten." So that was a -1 to come. Nice try.
Oh, darn it!
Nice try,
And
Justin.
I would have had it too if it weren't for your damn meddling kids.
Oh, there you go. See, it's that easy, man. It's that easy. So, um, so that part was easy. We have to decide how you're going to do your attributes before any of that. So,
Oh boy,
yeah, let's do that real quick.
I'm kind of a big fan of random, but
So,
because it's scary, but it's rewarding if it goes right. And if it doesn't go right, then it just becomes kind of funny.
you said you're the big fan of the first method?
Switch it back over your screen here. All attributes then pick. Yep, random roll.
Total random. Well, that would be okay when you just want to make a character, just a random character. That's
I
you're
know,
gonna be
I
able to come up
know,
with something good that way. But if for a
I know.
character such as yours, which needs to be good at certain aspects, I would highly recommend the second method.
I
Highly
get it.
recommend.
I get it. I get it. Well, how about this? Is there one that you particularly want to show off? Because I'm fine with doing either one. I the
I mean, we
random
can do this. We can do the first method anytime. I highly recommend the second method. When you have a certain idea of the character that you want to make already in mind, always choose the second method. If you don't care what you want to make, always choose the first method.
I know, but see, the
That's
way
kind of, in my opinion, that I mean, that makes sense.
I know that if it doesn't end up working
If
out,
you're
then
a
it just
control
makes
freak, always choose the third method.
third method. That is start at 9. Oh yeah, that one. The point buy system.
Right.
Yeah, the safety point buy system.
All right.
Um, I say, you know what, man? I'm going first method because I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it. It's just because.
Okay.
So it's like if I maybe I become just a really dumb, uncharismatic, not strong. I'm not afraid.
That's fine. Do you want to roll the dice? Or do you want me to roll the dice?
You know what? I'll let you roll because
Okay. I will.
I don't
I
want.
will put them on camera. I'll put the rolls on camera. So they'll be down here. I won't be able to see them. I won't be able to see it on the camera.
I'm just gonna record this in the wound section real quick just to kind of have them on note here.
I guess I should. I could set up. I could set up. I could set up a. Go. I'd set up a camera for this, but whatever.
All right.
All right. So. All right. So just right down the line. Here's strength. Ready?
Yep.
1.
Wait. Oh boy. Okay. Well, 1. Got it.
Are you putting them in for me? Oh, you're putting
I'll
them
put
into
him.
wounds. Okay, so you got to go over to.
Now, does that make it a 1 or a 9?
So
By
first
adding
off,
it.
it starts off at. Here's the thing: is it starts off at. Let's say 9 or 10. 8. It starts off at 8. Yeah. So you do a plus. Yeah. So that's correct, right there. Because this method, you start at 8, picking the attribute and then roll a d6, add it to that attribute. So we're just going to go straight down the line. Ready?
So 9. Got it.
Okay. Next one is
Big
Dex.
money. Big money.
2.
Okay.
Next one is 3.
Look, 1, 2, 3. What the hell?
6. That's good.
6. My Constitution is 6. What?
That's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
5.
5 on my perception. Wow, look at me, big spender.
1.
Ooh, that's knowledge.
3.
Okay.
In
That was
intelligence.
intelligence, yeah.
4. In
Oh,
willpower.
wisdom. Okay.
Whoa. 6 in insight.
What?
Big money.
Big money.
6
6?
in charisma.
Wow!
Got your bard, man. That's that's bard level. But I'm gonna say right now that 9 in knowledge, that pretty much wipes out your chances at.
Being smart.
No, that's just knowledgeable. Being smart is intelligence. That's okay.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But if you look at the artificer triad,
Yeah.
artificing triad skill. So let's take a look. This is where I was suggesting possibly doing read arcana or spellcasting for spellcasting
Got
is
it.
knowledge based. So that
Got it.
nixes that idea.
Okay, you know what? We
I
roll
think.
the punches, man.
That's right. So
I think overall, like,
it's a good
you know,
spread.
it's not bad. You know, got a couple 6s in there, couple 4s and 5s. You know.
You can go,
Uh,
honestly, this guy could go old school multi-class with the different, you know, doing sorcery with different schools even. I mean,
no,
over time, you're gonna have to start somewhere, but in the future, you can branch out into the other schools because he's got high marks in. So how it works is, so let's see here. So these are your things. So how it works is intelligence is your spellcasting ability. Willpower is for casting magic, like necromancy or animancy. That's your life magic, clerical stuff. And
right,
insight is for powers. That's your more druidic and like psionic stuff.
right. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he definitely comes across more of a magic user with a lot of health. Like, actually, he wouldn't make a bad cleric.
He wouldn't make a bad cleric. He'd be okay in the clerical fields, honestly. And
So
there's some neat stuff in there. You don't necessarily have to do healing, you know.
yeah, absolutely. I think
You do really well in psionics or primordial schools for
I
that.
also, it's as I kind of said at the beginning of this, I kind of wax and wane between him, being a magic user who, like, who I said, as a multi-class fifth edition, the best way to describe him would be a bard and a sorcerer, a bard and a wizard, And so really, the way the roles worked, I was like, okay, now he's probably going to be a bit 70% wizard and 30% bard, and a lot of that bard might be more role playing in terms of just.
Did you only get a 1 in perception? I thought we got something higher. We'll have to go back and look.
You mean pull the tapes? We got records.
We got records. We'll go back and look and check it out.
That's all good. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think I did get something higher. But yeah, we'll look.
I don't know what happened. I'll go back and look at it, and then we'll change it accordingly. Or hell, if you want to, we can just re-roll it right now. You want to re-roll it right now?
If you do no. I mean, like, if you go back through the go back through the editing history. The last thing I edited was
It's
this, so
kind
it's
of
not a
important to
mistake.
know. I really feel like you got something higher, but for some reason it says 9. And also my thing was on there. I don't know if I just somehow changed it or what.
So if I were to go, so I kind of dropped everything off to the side here. If I were to kind of, well, I can't do that.
What are you doing?
Never mind. Never mind. I'm a moron.
That's not very nice.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you know what?
We can
I'm
move
not gonna work.
forward. But what I'm concerned about is that these numbers provide a modifier, which then goes into the skill. So we need to know what this is. So I just suggest we re-roll it. Right?
All right, let's re-roll it.
Re-roll.
Let's see if lightning strikes twice. Hold on, hold on. Before you do that, I'm going to.
That one didn't count.
I'm going to zero this out. Constitution, I had a actual 7 in, right? Yeah.
It was a 8 minus 1.
Yeah.
No! Oh!
No, it's okay. It's okay. Look. The magic of computers.
I know how we can just go back this way. Yeah, you just keep on going back until we know what it is.
I didn't record it. See, I skipped right over it. See
okay,
that?
well then we gotta roll. We're just gonna roll it. Okay, here it is.
Right.
This is it.
All right, money time.
2.
2. All right, I'm cool with it.
2. That'll get you. That'll get you a +1. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, I've got a nice spread here. Strength, dexterity, and knowledge are kind of not my friends, but otherwise,
not yet. Yeah.
I kind of got I got at least a point in everything else, so I'm cool with it. All right.
Not bad.
So, next step.
Now, were you going to do it again? We're having this thing recently where, like, you got to say something about 1,000,000 times before it sticks. Go on. Go on. Okay. So, I came back down to pluck my ears. It's like, I know he just wants some attention, but I have him for 90% of the waking hours. Because
Yeah, here. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. Where are we at? So we're in okay, so good. Excellent.
Do it.
Let's move forward. Moving forward. So you are a half elf. Let's take a look at that real quick. What other things? So you have perception, the trade triad bonus. Okay, well that'll come in a little bit later.
Yep.
All right, so we got your attributes down. So now, with that, a lot of stuff basically gets automated based on your size and your strength. All of this stuff comes out in the dynamic sheet based on your size of being a size 3. Your movement is a size 3, and your hand grip is a size 3. None of that affects your DR, so that's not going to come out. We have to pick your weapons also, what kind of combat you're going to do. And then later on, after we pick your triads and level them up, we'll be able to do your feats. So now we're at a point in time in character creation where, we haven't filled in all of this stuff. Do you know what your alignment and tendency is? We can probably do that real quick.
Yeah,
unless you want to wait until we get the triads in, until you can see what things are like there.
I don't know. What would your recommendation be?
Yeah, I mean, you seem to have an idea of what your character is going to be, so I would say it's pretty safe to go into alignment and tendency right now. Sometimes when you're making a character, especially in this system, by the time you're done, it might be a little bit different because there's so much for you to fall into, so many different little rabbit holes.
It definitely already is a little different, but that's good. And I'm liking the build so far. I'm very happy with what we got. So let's do alignment. Let's do
So getting right into alignment. Okay.
What page are we on here?
We are, this is the RPG, so we gotta go way down here before dealing damage, before combat.
I'm in
There we go.
spells. Oh,
So, alignment.
what page?
22.
Got it. All right. All right. So,
Okay. So, what you thinking? So basically, when you're picking your alignment and tendency, you
mhm,
kind of have to. I lost my windows here. When you're picking your alignment and tendency, you basically pick good, neutral, or evil for each, for one of them, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, so I'm. It's definitely not going to be evil. I haven't ruled out neutral, um, but I probably lean more towards good. The neutral good tendencies is not that far off as being a bad option, though. I kind of like
Mm.
tend
Being
not to
just
get
an
involved.
orator, you're like maybe more of just you're recording, you know,
Yeah. Now,
things.
so I mean, neutral good tendencies could mean I could almost paint that in a way of a little a kind of self like because if I'm playing with a party, right, the neutral anyone who is really kind of neutral or really overzealous in the street could
I
be a
gotta.
pain.
We're gonna have to do an intermission real quick. I apologize, everybody. 1 second. We're back.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that, guys.
All
Okay.
good.
So after looking through this, did you sort of decide where you're gonna go with it?
I'm struggling between two different ones. Between neutral good tendencies or good and neutral tendencies. Kind of flipping those around. Um, if I was in a party, neutral good tendencies sounds like that'd be a pain in the ass because
Hmm.
it makes it sound like that I would never go along with any of the greater schemes to help out in quests or adventures, anything like that. You know.
I think you would go along with anybody with if maybe if I'm reading you right in your character, if you could get a story to tell out of it.
Yeah. I think that's not a bad point. Um, yeah, because I think really he wants to be non-invasive,
Right. So I would
except
go
for
neutral good.
neutral pretenses.
Yeah.
All right, I like that idea.
That makes sense. So then let's go ahead and look at your traits real quick and pick those.
I'm recording this over here neutral with.
Mm-hmm. So you can go
All
ahead
right,
and record and
then
then
here. So
okay.
now I have to pick definitely
So
one for
basically you're
neutral.
neutral good. So pick a neutral trait, pick a good trait, and then pick one of any other.
Got it. Okay. So, and according to your rules, I cannot pick astute and familiar. I can only pick one
Right,
from.
yeah. You don't pick any traits that are in the same row. You only pick one trait per row.
Mhm. Mhm. So, storyteller. Um, the neutral one's actually a little difficult. Maybe let me start in the positive one for a second.
Hmm.
If you see any ones that kind of jump out,
Well,
please.
you know your character best. So if I'm thinking typical bard, maybe curious, jovial.
You know what? I think curious hit the right chord for me. I'm going to roll with curious. That one made a lot of sense as soon as you
Okay.
said it.
So curious is down.
Okay. Now we need a neutral one
Romantic,
for it.
even possibly.
I think that's definitely on the board. I
You could also
can't
do
deny
cool. You know, people just
it.
think you're cool. Oh, that guy's so cool.
Yeah. Um. Now, considerate might make sense, especially when it comes to like he explains his.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know. Not thinking about it.
Carefree.
Carefree. That might be close to it.
Yeah.
Real. Well, what about realistic? Because realistic might be the best way for a storyteller, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm with you. Realistic.
Realistic for your second. Okay. Let's just look at the negatives real quick. See if anything pops out.
I got my fair share of sins. You know.
Maybe
Uh,
deceptive. That's possible.
yeah.
Lazy is possible. I think inquisitive. That's more like interrogative. You would be.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
think Spanish Inquisition. Inquisitive.
You know.
It could be depressing. Like
Or it's like
he only does like very melancholy songs.
so as a quick side note, you know that I have I did my graduate school in psychology, and there's a study out there that says that depression um, actually causes people to what they have cognitively have a much more realistic worldview as opposed to of course they have some pessimism in there,
Yeah,
but
it's yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with it.
yeah no so that one actually kind of makes sense. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
he's
I
not
mean
narcissistic.
not that you're in a depression, that you're depressing.
Yes,
Like
right, yeah.
that person is just a downer all the time, you know? You don't
Like
want that
Marvin
necessarily.
from
Right.
Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah,
Narcissistic is a possibility.
yeah, yeah.
Impatient is a possibility. Reckless maybe even.
Irreverent,
Complicated.
complicated.
But you can pick any trait out of any of these. So some of the other ones that popped out on you in neutral, you know.
Yeah, yeah. That last row, sophisticated, simple, complicated. What is that? What is that spectrum really capturing? You think?
Hmm. Well, uh, so there's the sophisticated person might have fill their home with just frivolous talking points, right? Where a simple person is just going to have what's necessary to live.
Mhm.
But a complicated person might, you know, be a combination of both, except for the talking points are things to create a simple life form, maybe. You know what I mean? Like there are any number of stuff.
No,
So,
yeah,
so
I do.
complicated could be a mixture of of any of that. Like me, I would be considered complicated, I think, because I want a lot of this. I want a lot of both of those spectrums, those things.
Yeah.
Uh, and the only way to get there is like I think I told you, if I could make my own homemade barbecue sauce the way I wanted, I would start by building a condenser and condense my own liquid smoke so I could choose which wood.
Oh, got it. I got you. I got you. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Uncomplicated.
Like how I said that in my DMing world, I would I'd write a whole I'd
Right.
write
Yeah,
books.
you're complicated
Books.
too. We're both complicated people. Maybe
We
that's why we
are.
like this system.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because character
I-
development is like there's a lot to it to digest, especially for the first time.
you might would you even go with like meta thinker or something like that?
Maybe I don't know.
I'm somewhere between complicated and depressing actually. When I look
I would
back on
go
the
complicated.
okay, so I'm curious, realistic,
Complicated.
complicated.
Yeah. So
It,
now that kind of gives you, when you're looking at your character, you kind of see exactly how to play this character or what kind of person this is.
yeah,
It's really interesting. I mean, he would be a really interesting character to play, I think.
I'm already excited about him.
All right. So now let's start figuring out what we're going to do for your triads, okay? So when I'm doing this in this system, what I like to do is well, for sort of bard, not the not so bard.
Yeah, yeah,
It's going to be somewhat bardy actually. You'd be
yeah,
surprised. One
yeah.
thing that already pops out is the your trade school. I know what that. I'm pretty sure that I know what that one's going to be. So if we go over your trade triad, now you can pick more than one, obviously, but the one that you're going to be doing the most is probably this one, artistry. So I'm going to just go ahead and select that whole thing. We're going to copy it, okay, and then we're going to
Okay.
go over here. I'm fairly certain this is going to be your main thing.
Yep.
Okay.
It's so
Your main trade. Just,
good news is that
there we go.
charisma is one of my higher skills. I got 14 for a +2 modifier in there. So that's
Right,
good.
yeah. So performing arts that's going to be your thing, right? So let's go
Yeah.
ahead and we got to pick 6 of these, right?
Right.
Let's figure out what your attacks are. Do you want any kind of melee or martial?
This is where it gets a little complicated. Not to reference my character, but and the way I've always kind of viewed your system is, you want one method of attacking, one method of defense, whatever it may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other stuff, then the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so okay, if I'm
So with
thinking
that
it
with that in mind, we know we're going to need defense. So let's
Or
go
maybe. I mean, you theoretically could do that through
with
to get
with
HP.
magic. Theoretically,
Yeah.
theoretically,
If I look at the attributes, I am not strong in strength or dexterity. If I'm kind of
but you
metagaming
are in
it,
insight. And so what I would suggest is going with absorb as your main
what
defense
absorb is just the ability to take a hit across the chest and not flinch.
and not flinch.
Not a bad idea. I mean,
It'll work well. It'll work better with spellcasting as well.
right. It will. Now, if there was like There's parry, that's precision. Just kind of looking across the other ones here.
Well, parry has to be combined. It has to go with a block.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So these are our combat triads.
Yeah, I say let's do defense absorb. That one makes the most sense.
I think so. I think so too.
That
So
one kind of makes sense
we're
because
gonna grab the defense triad. We're gonna put it right here because we're gonna put our combat triad here or whatever your main focus is for that. So what are you thinking? You thinking melee, or do you want to just stop there and then go for magic stuff? We can do magic stuff right now also.
magic makes the most sense metagame wise. Like, I don't have.
Okay, so let's go to the fantasy triads. Okay, so here's all the fantasy triads. This is the fantasy trades. These are the trade triads, and or which are called the mystic triads. And then here are the arcane casting triads.
Right.
So I would pick one of these. Now the ones that you're going to be best at doing are these because they're insight based. Primordial and psionics are insight based. But you had suggested doing animancy.
I also have charisma. You know, that's a +2 in there too.
So here's an interesting thing. So let's just take a look at artistry real quick. I just want to throw this out there. So because that's going to be your main focus. So let's bring up the artistry triad from the book. When you're creating characters in Natural 1, it's important to, if you get stuck along the way, go look at what you already have, okay? And then see what can, fit well with that, basically. So, for instance, if we go to artistry, which we know for a fact you're going to do, you're doing artistry because it's performing arts. We also know that, too, right? Because that's where you're going to get, we don't know what kind of performing arts, but we know it's going to be one of these, orator, musical instrument, sideshow act,
right.
Acting, whatever,
Absolutely.
So we know that, which means, let's see here, there's a couple interesting things here. Here we go. Performance artist. Pick any skill. Its attribute modifier is now based on charisma. So, here's an idea. What if you start with, and that's a feat. So, you can pick that feat, and then when you are picking, you could actually go in here, and you could pick archaic enchantment spells, for instance, right? And make its attribute based on charisma.
That's powerful as shit. that really, really, it blows open the entire thing. As long as I were to kind of, and I'm going to go down that path.
Yeah.
It just makes sense that I pick up that feat,
Yeah. So when you're spellcasting, you're doing it the bard way.
Damn. So now that kind of everything's on the table here, I'm going to try and choose kind of like a bardy type of thing to go with. Like what's kind of a fun thing.
Well, I only suggested enchantment for that particular feat because enchantment has spells like charm, and that kind of stuff in it.
Enchantment.
Yeah, enchantment has charm, and that's what I was thinking. Anyways, I was just thinking something that goes along with a bard motif kind of situation.
And actually, it also kind of fits in the illusion. Yeah,
you could do illusion too, where you're showing people the stories, right?
Oh god, that's such a cool role. You know what? I might throw I might throw a point in just to have it for a role playing thing, honestly.
Right. So, if I were to min max for this, enchantment has the arcane missile spell, which is kind of like magic missile a little bit. So there's some damage aspect in enchantment. I would do the charisma under enchantment, and then maybe later down the road, there's no rule that says you can't take the same feat twice yet. Really, I think.
Well,
But
be careful.
yeah, I know. So
I
maybe
think
there
I'm
is.
gonna
I should go back and read that probably.
I
But
think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with your recommendation of choose the archaic with the idea of we're gonna convert the attribute down the line of that feat. I kind of like that build idea.
okay. Uh.
So now
So
we've
yeah.
got our
So we're gonna go
Metalcore.
archaic. So go ahead and just grab the whole thing. You want to grab it?
I got yep. And then we're gonna pop it in triads. There it is. Got it.
There you go. It's that simple. Nicely done. Okay, so there's
And
that. That gives you some offensive ability. Now you still have 3 more triads to fool around with. We could do a number of things here. Actually, we could go back into the combatics, or I'm sorry, into the combat disciplines, and you could maybe footwork would be a good option. That's where you get tumbling, flank, and bait. So there's some combat utility in there.
I do have the insight for bait, which is nice.
Right, right, and you're not too
Uh,
far off from upping your dex as well. If you really wanted to go go that rate, that way. Let's see
no,
here. Combatics has will and has force and disarm. That's also some good combat utility, and you'd be pretty good at both of those.
I effectively. I mean, I'm just kind of throwing this out there. For my last 3, I could go footwork, melee, and then the performing arts.
Well,
Uh,
you got performing arts already in there, so you already have art. Performing arts is under artistry, but there are other
oh,
trades to consider as well. We could consider some of the mystical trades. For instance, sorcery might come in handy down the line.
oh
You know,
yeah, you're right.
for instance,
Yeah,
so which gives you counterspell and arcane lore. And Weave Arcana allows you to combine 2 different schools together. Magic or arcane stuff from 2 different schools together.
hot damn.
You could do Monk, which has some really cool stuff in it, and it's high in willpower and insight. Right?
Yeah,
You could do Druidic stuff, where you are able to detect alignment, detect curse, and commune with plants and animals and stuff. So maybe you're out there singing to the birds.
it could even go with the wizardry one
And
for
yeah,
the cantrip. No, I'm not really great in intelligence, but cantrip is also it's just a nice. It provides nice benefits too, though.
I mean, based on your attributes alone, the ones that you're going to do best at are Druidic and Monk. Um, but the ones that might appeal to your character more might be sorcery and wizardry. And I say sorcery because maybe down the line you want to add more arcane casting, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
sorcery is your bridge in between casting. Say you have some astral magic, uh, some enchantment, and you want to combine those 2 spells, spells and magic together. You can do that
right.
with the sorcery. So maybe that's something that you want to get into, but you have to decide, and you have to decide.
Um, the more I keep thinking about, the more I would love. Of course, we all want the world, right? We want him to be able to be a swordsman and a caster and talented at all the different trades.
Right.
There's just not enough. I'm going to spread myself out too thin if I do that.
I think you're
So
going to be okay still. You'd be surprised.
I think I'm going to pick up. I think I like the concept of sorcery because arcane lore kind of fits in with my vibe.
Okay.
Counterspell's nice, weave arcana is nice. So I have some headroom to kind of grow in there.
Yeah.
But then I like your idea. If I were to, because weave arcana really is only good if I have something else to weave it with. So I think I would be leaning maybe towards more like
Counterspell is your first thing that I would put points into here.
right. I'm trying to think big grand scale though. If I get the triads now, then I could just kind of over time as I get my CP, I know how
Right.
to
You're gonna know which direction you're gonna build to. So like
Right.
you're not gonna be good at when you're picking triads. That's a important thing to pick, to bring up right now. When you're picking triads, you're not going to be good at every single thing in the triad right off the rip. You could be, but then you're sacrificing something somewhere else because of that. So
Right.
you're really going to have to like pick and choose your battles when you're such a low level, basically. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's go.
Hold on.
You going all in here with sorcery?
Hold on, yeah. So I think my plan is I like sorcery because I have the headroom to develop as I go. And see, I'm going to go sorcery. And then I think actually, crazy enough, I'm actually considering psionics
As
because
a
I
also.
well, so yeah, so I have three more triads to pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go sorcery with the idea that I have the headroom over time to pick up weave arcana, and then effectively I would try to be weaving psionics and archaic together.
Okay. Oh right. Okay. There you go. So then wow, that's going to be really interesting.
How
So
how insane is that?
it would be pretty insane actually. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to cut this, move it down here.
I'll grab the psionics.
Actually, paste. Whoopsie. We're just going to copy this because I like to keep things nice and orderly. So let's go ahead and grab psionics and put that where the defense is, and then we'll put this right here.
Then I got one more to play with, right?
I think that's going to be your melee.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be flanking or attacking or something kind of.
Though honestly, you might want to go with Marshall.
Pull that up real quick. So,
And
yes,
my main reasoning is for that. Well, the bonus damage for martial weapons is based on your dex, so you're closer in that respect to getting some bonus damage. The other thing is martial weapons. It could be a fencing blade. It could be like a saber, right? It doesn't necessarily mean like you're punching and kicking. Like you can have. In this version of the book, I changed it. Before you could only have unarmed combat and martial weapons. Now you can have unarmed combat or unarmed weapons in melee also. That's more like your brawler. Like it takes you 3 seconds to charge up your big punch, whereas martial punches are like you know.
right.
So that I mean, but as far as that goes, martial weapons redirect is really cool, and you can you combo that with absorb. So there's some synergy there.
And actually, it's governed by one of my highest attributes too, which is great.
Right. So I would toy around with the idea of doing martial weapons.
I'm somewhere between footwork and martial. Footwork obviously has flanking, which I'm not high in. But that's always a great thing to have. Martial has that redirect, which gets me, as you said, you combo and absorb.
You only got one more space. So you got to go. You got to, and you have no weapon attack. Right now, you're all magey.
It makes sense, because if I pick up martial, I can at least I have the ability to use martial weapons,
Hmm.
and then I also have the headroom to develop and to redirect.
Yeah.
I think martial makes the most sense.
Yay! Okay, so we're just gonna punch this in right here. There
You,
we go.
you,
All right, this is
so
now this is your
I,
character. This is for the most part. This is at its core what your character is. Um,
what's what's your standing back and looking at this painting we just created? What's your impression of this so far?
so it's gonna be. I mean, it's skill intensive, and that's kind of for a bard. That's not a surprise. Any kind of champion esque, you know. There's other things that you could have did in the trade triads that are also kind of neat. So, for instance, um, if we look at the presence, for instance, would have been fitting for your character because it has empathy and rally is just a fantastic. That's how you can generate action points for your other teammates. You know, and you can
Yeah,
actually, I think, award them like stamina and stuff even.
that is very very traditional Barty type of move.
Right, yeah, and that's party. So I'm just pointing out things that you might have maybe see. It's easy to get sidetracked when character creating in Natural One because you go down one path and it just takes you along the ride for the ride.
Yeah,
Um,
I,
and then you miss out on so much more. Now it's possible for you to just buy this triad, right? It's costs 4 CP, and then you can have it 4 character points, right?
if I want, because right now I'm rocking
Then
the
then you're spreading yourself thin. Right now, you're not spreading yourself thin. But as you start adding more triads, then you're starting to spread yourself thin. It's possible, you know.
right now I'm sitting at 80 character points, which sounds like a lot, but I know as
It's going to go
like
quick.
it's a sliding scale, yeah, for sure,
It's going to go quick.
So all right. But
You're
I've
good with
got
where
the
you're at. Only other one that I was going to bring up was maybe tactics.
yeah, I saw that.
Trapping or wayfinding might have been an option. Also, you could have went linguistics if you wanted to get into that. Singing in different languages.
I think
You could have gone into entrepreneurship, maybe gambling and bartering. Maybe you're that kind of bard. You know what I mean? You could have gone into civics. Civics is very bardy because it's got dally in it, and dally is your romance skill, basically.
right.
So, I mean, those are all options. Analytics for history and folklore.
The
So,
the
but
way that I'm seeing it,
if you're
yeah,
happy with your current setup, and you don't want to change out too much, then I mean, the only place, I mean, you don't have too much room for it. You, you, at this point in time, I would trade out. If I were to trade anything out, I would trade out the psionics and or sorcery for any of those other skills and leave everything else the same. But other than that, I would keep it just the way it is. Also, if you're feeling this is the character, then this is the character.
yeah, I gotcha. I feel like what I really wanted was I wanted the headroom to grow in something because you bring up a good point. Like this is your chance to really kind of lay the foundation. Like even though I may not be taking advantage of the full sorcery tree right off the bat,
Mm,
it's there for me to grow into, and I don't have to worry about buying it down the road, and
right.
basically restarting it, So
Yeah, buying it down the road's always an option.
it is, but I think the thing I do want to buy down the road, and it makes sense for my character development and my role playing, is I'm going to buy analytics, history, and folklore,
Mm.
because I think that will be something if
Oh,
this
right.
character.
Yeah, for sure.
But I would rather it be done when he's older, right? Because
Mm.
that makes sense in
Sure.
terms of my character
You
progression.
built that up over time, then. Yeah. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
for sure.
It
And
goes in.
I just want to point out that I've yet to even consider sorcery combining spells from enchantment and telepathy, which sounds ludicrous. Total mind screwage going on.
It's like a mind blast, really. You
Right,
know what I mean?
yeah. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and like put some skill points into some of these things. So first off, um, what I would do is I would pick one skill in each one of these, and then we're gonna start bumping those up. So I just want to show how putting skill points in a skill raises the rank of a skill. So if I put one skill point in this skill, we get one rank, and the roll goes up to 3 because in charisma, go up here to charisma, has a modifier of 2. Okay, so when we put one skill point in, we're going to get +2 to the rank for that. Okay, and we put two skill points in, it's now a rank 2, and I have a bonus of 4. And we can do that all the way up to rank 5. Oh, 0. Rank 5, okay? And so now 5 skill points in, 5 rank, right? It goes all the way up there. When we go from rank 5 to rank 6, I just need to point this out real quick because this is really important to character creation. As skills go up higher in rank, it takes more character points to raise them up in rank.
Right.
So let's go back in the beginning. Here we are. So between ranks 1 and 5, it costs 1 character point. 6 through 10 costs 2 character points. 11 through 15 now costs 4 CP. So oftentimes 10, 11 is the bottleneck for like raising your skills, right?
Right.
16 to 20 rank is going to cost you 8 character points. Now, just to put this in perspective, you know, typically you get 1 character point for each hour of the session, right? So if you play an 8-hour session, you're going to get 8 character points,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that I'd love to play an 8-hour session.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Dude, 16-hour, we're in power level.
So,
So that's really important to consider that when spending your skills, because spending your character points, because the best way to get your triad level up. So basically, when you're putting these skill points in, important thing to point out here is that another thing to point out here is that so the artistry level went from 0 to 1 as soon as we had 3 rank. That's because the artistry level is basically equal to the total number of rank in the triad divided by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is a 1. At 3rd level, you get a feat, right? So if we were to just say, to get this to 3rd level is the most important, basically, to get that feat. Because the feat, we already know what feat you want, right?
Right.
We know the feat that you want is performance artist, right? Is that what it was called?
Correct.
We already know. So we're going to need to get that to 3. So we put our 5 character points in. That's where we were before. So to go from rank 5 to rank 6 is going to cost us 2 character points. So if we were to put 6 in here, nothing changes, right? But if we put 7 in there, voila, it goes up. So to go all the way up to 10 is going to cost you 15 character points typically. But if you want to min-max it, it can go down to 13 because at rank 9, right, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and that's where you're going to get your first feat. Now, we can put more skill points in this triad. Yeah, you playing with that?
Yeah, just checking. Yeah, so
this one's so down here, have you decided divination, enchantment, or illusion? Are you going to go enchantment? I mean, I'm not trying to pigeonhole you here or whatever.
No. So here's my plan of attack. My plan of attack was I wanted to first lock down the artistry and then get the feats. And then beyond that, my first point was I should have 67 left over points. I was kind of thinking for the next, I'm going to spend 25 points choosing one skill out of everyone's things, just dropping 5 into there. Just kind of associating a triad with
I would recommend what I would recommend is that we just find one skill in each one and just get the throw 13 in that skill just to get it to that triad level, and then we can fool around a little bit later. Because I mean, what you could do here is you could put 5 here and say 4 here, right? And that would get you 3, and you've also spent less. But you look at these rolls over here, and this is not conducive to doing anything special.
Sure.
Right?
Well, yeah. And actually, that might be a move. I'm gonna do the exact move. Follow me down the sorcery for a second.
Yeah, right. Precisely.
I might
5
do that.
and 4. Yes.
I might do that exact move right there.
Right, yeah. Because here you're getting into it. You're just starting to dabble, right?
Right.
So and that's okay. It's okay that you don't have counterspell up yet. It's just that's fine.
I kind of have it. I just don't
Right.
have a lot.
We're going to get a feat from there, and it's going to be handy to the overall character. Because
So-
while this is important to character development, putting your skill, raising up these skills, and getting better rolls, at the same time, it's just as important which feats you choose, because it's the character is influenced by that just as much as it is by any one of these skills.
So can you
go ahead?
I was gonna say I'd like to kind of review the divination, enchantment, illusion spells.
Well, let's that's going to take a moment. So let's skip down here real quick down to martial, because we kind of know martial weapons. You're going to want that, right?
Probably,
and
yeah.
absorb. You're going to want that.
Right.
Okay. So there's those are simple. That's simple. But and then if
should I put any then? Oh, I guess if I have anything left over, I might want to put it.
Right now you have 19 skill points, right? Left.
Right.
Okay. So if we were to pick one of these, that's 13. Just for
Right.
I'm not saying we do this.
Yeah,
is there a particular one that stands out?
No, just throw it in there, and then that leaves us with 2 points left over, right?
It will leave us, if you put 13 in, it will leave us with 6 left over.
Okay.
So each one can have basically one skill.
Right. Or I could put it into redirect, which seemed like a good start to helping me out with the combo.
That's not it'd be a good starter for you also.
Yeah.
You can put the extra on redirect. But at the same time, you might want to memorize more spells too. So you might I would hold off. Yeah, just hold off on that for a second. But okay, so now let's go take a quick look over at this fantasy campaign guide, and look at some different spells and stuff. Of course, you want spells.
The archaic and psionic trees.
So, yeah, there's illusion. Okay, so I guess I should write out all the spells. Like have a little list right in the beginning.
So divination. We got.
So you're not going to start out with unique spells or uncommon spells. You're going to start out with the common spells.
So we got basically a night vision spell.
Night vision. No history is kind of cool.
Actually,
consists of history of a specific. Go ahead.
That actually worked out really well for my role playing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It consists of history of a specific material possession to divine its origins. The caster will know the path it traveled and may even recognize any nearby landmarks to the path. So this is neat. This is basically you're following the path of this thing. you're looking at its where it's been,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
with no, great details or anything. Another one that's kind of cool is claim. Caster can sense the name of the current owner of a specific material possession, or the last owner. They may divine the name of the next previous owner, or the owner of another material possession, if it is also within the coverage, for every 3 casting levels. So that's just a way
Right.
of just understanding. I mean, it's divination. Lens is cool for combining with ranged stuff, but it also just
Hold
works
on.
just like a telescope.
Hold on. Hold on. You moved a little too fast for me.
Yep.
Let's go back for a second. So, where are we again?
Lens. We're still in
Lens.
divination.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So lens basically allows you to, it's like a telescope or binoculars kind of situation.
Got it.
Um, there's some really cool stuff on the uncommon level, but you won't, like I said, we won't start off there. Preceding sight is
Trifoil.
such a cool spell. Recipients of this effect see the events in the divined area reverse through time. For each turn of the duration, the previous hour's events will play backwards at any moment. The caster may pause the reversing vision or move it forward in time to any point that was viewed during the duration. They may then play the paused event in normal time to witness the event. So you can, like, while standing in a certain area or space,
Right.
while concentrating, you're reversing back in time and seeing all the events that happened, in that area.
Again,
And then at any point in time, you could
that
stop and then watch.
I have to admit, when I talk about my character being basically my DM character, right? Like he's my player character, but then he becomes like the DM storyteller. That is such a great RPG thing for just that concept.
Mm-hmm. Got to keep in mind a lot of this stuff. I mean, you might be seeing your character as it is now, but maybe you can also see your character as it is late level too. And
Oh yeah, no,
you're
totally.
gonna have you're gonna have divination, enchantment, and illusion. I guaranteed by the time you're a heroic level, or you're
Right.
gonna have at least one
Yeah.
other, most
Yeah.
likely. So I
Right.
mean,
Right.
then you have,
Um.
let's see here, the other common one, second sight. The caster may see from any recipient's point of view, no matter the distance. So you can look from, you basically looking through somebody else's eyes. Sense Arcana, which is like a detect. Sense Aura. For the duration, the caster can sense the aura of any nearby individual with one space casting level. This reveals one alignment trait of any individual plus one more every 3 turns. So that basically shows you, you know, um,
Their motivations.
yeah, it shows you their traits, basically.
Oh, so what I'm really picking up on the divination school is it's a great utilitarian option, and it fits a lot with my role playing.
That's
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
information gathering, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Enchantment is where you're gonna find some damage stuff in the archaic discipline. So
Right.
primarily in arcane missile, right? And the other
Yeah.
thing that you can do is you can create little, you can animate things,
Yeah.
possibly if you wanted to go that
Yeah.
route. Disenchant, um, Durate, which makes your spells last longer. So you combine this with
Right.
other effects to make them last longer. Charm is unfortunately uncommon, so you're not going to be able to start
And
with that.
I tell you,
Uh,
when I could start arcane weaving durate with other things too, that's crazy.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Enchant is basically it's a quick. You can enchant weapon. You basically combine this with other things. You can enchant items real quick. They last for a short period of time, but they're enchanted with that ability. Read enchantment, slumber. Here you go. You can put them to sleep.
Crowd control. Yeah.
Yep. If any recipient fails, the coverage is only a recipient, right?
Right.
But if any recipient fails, if you combine it with something that's got an area of effect, uh, fails their will, save. Their actions are interrupted and they fall fast asleep. If the character is fatigued, they remain asleep beyond the duration of the spell. So
Wow.
right, if they're if they're caught with no stamina and you cast this on them, they're not getting up. They're sleepy.
Yeah, yeah, they're sleepy. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
You know.
Illusion.
So illusion has acoustics. This is you can create sounds, illusory sounds, right?
Right, right.
Uh, disappear is a free action uh, spell. You can cast this as a free action, 1 stamina per casting level, and that's basically tells you how long you're going to be invisible for. The caster becomes invisible to all forms of vision except infravision. Any action taken against the caster in that space receives a -5 penalty, step penalty for the duration. However, any effect which has an area effect may affect the caster normally. While this effect is active, the caster may not perform any action. The caster may dispel this effect at any time. So basically, you disappear and then you don't do anything, right? And you're
Yeah,
that way for the duration. As soon as you do something, you're visible again.
broken. Yeah.
Yeah. Foolery is kind of cool. This effect does not affect sentient recipients. A specified object in the coverage is instantly transformed into any other illusory object specified by the caster. This is like somebody's holding a staff and you turn it into a snake. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
Um, so that's foolery. There's a bunch of uncommon stuff later down the road. Hallucinate, invisibility, mirrors is awesome. It's basically a mirror image kind of situation.
I'm just seeing so many cool arcane weaving things I could do with
Oh
this shit.
yeah, absolutely. Phantasms, the core of illusion, right? That's your physical illusion kind of stuff. Sense is illusory smells, illusory tastes. So you could you can create an apple, combine it with sense and taste, and make it actually smell and taste like an apple, even though it's nothing,
Wow,
right?
that'd be kind of funny. Make people eat dirt.
Right, yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah, like a classic hag trick.
Yeah, right.
Classic.
Stupid, stupid
Photonics is
bars.
basically creating illusory light. Slight is this a specified object in the coverage disappears from the hands of the one who wields it. The size of the object cannot be greater uh, than 1 + 1 per 2 casting levels. So size 1 like a dagger, right? After the duration ends, the object reappears in a home position. Knives will be sheathed, necklaces worn, and a torch would be extinguished and stored away. So somebody's going to attack you, and you cast Slight on them, and it happens to be, level. Maybe it's a short sword. They're wielding a short sword. You cast Slight on them, and it's just gone. They don't have it anymore. And then they realize, oh, it's in the sheath. So that's kind of a cool little thing.
Absolutely.
So that's the illusion spells. Let's go down here real quick to
Psionic. It
psionics.
just, and I think you're tracking what I'm looking for. Like, I'm gonna invest in something that it's gonna be damage producing, and then I might invest in something that's fun or utilitarian. So I'm just trying to. I'm looking at all my options about what I could do for damage and what I could do for utilitarian
So
fun.
damage wise or like combat wise, key powers are that. Basically, these are your super monk powers, right?
Yeah.
Getting more DR. Um, this one is any successful arcane power cast in action will actually restore your stamina, which is interesting. That's hot. That's uncommon. Empower here. The caster's strength and will are both temporarily increased with this by 1 point, and then +1 more per 3 casting levels.
Right.
Enhance. All primary, general, and free actions performed by the caster gain a +1 step bonus, +1 more per 5
Oh, hot damn!
right?
God, that's cool.
Heightened instincts. This reaction may be comboed with any. Yes, honey. Oh, sorry. Uh, the This reaction may be comboed with any reaction. If any is successful, the comboed reaction does not count towards the number of reactions allowed per turn. This is going to change because that's going to change because reactions don't exactly work like that. We've been actually playing reactions wrong in the last one. I played them the last episode of Natural One. I played it correctly. There is no limit to the number of reactions you can do. Basically, the first reaction is fine. Second reaction, you get a step penalty. Third reaction, you get 2 step penalties, and so on and so on. Every reaction, you get another step penalty.
It's more about the cognitive level.
Yeah.
Subsequent reactions. Yeah. Right.
Manifold. For each damage received, the caster may restore up to 2 stamina per casting level.
Wow, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, so you take damage, and then you react, and it costs you stamina also, right? So so you're gonna have to have stamina to do this proper.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Right key. You basically force them to roll a daily healing check, which could heal them. You let their own body heal themselves. You force that to happen. So it's kind of like healing. Shatter is cool because you can actually react against weapon attacks and break them.
You know what? Yeah, that's interesting.
So that's that. Honestly, telekinesis is a lot of cool stuff, but it doesn't scream to me Bard or what you're trying to do. What's more so? So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Think Jedi level stuff, you know. It's basic. That's the Jedi triad. Telepathy is probably more. So for me, if I would pick something either telepathy or key to start out with, most likely. I don't know what you're feeling, but this has a lot of good stuff in it, man. Confusion. After any successful primary action, but before any contest is rolled, the caster may perform this casting action as a free action. Right? So basically, after any successful so somebody comes up to attack you, and you can cast this. The caster may perform this casting action. If successful, the caster may choose a different and suitable target for the recipient's primary action.
What? So you can actually make them attack their enemy.
It's confusion. It's the confusion. It's a confusion. Yeah, precisely. The casting level is equal to the number of space from the recipient. So if they're attacking you face to face, its casting level is 1. But if they're attacking somebody from 10 spaces away, then that's what the casting level is. It's the distance they are from you. Right?
The potency.
Yeah. it's really cool. Heavy on the stamina uses though. Discountants. Any recipient of this effect will ignore the caster for the duration. Alter ego. Caster chooses a tendency and corresponding trait at the time of casting. For the duration, the trait chosen will dominate but if it's combined with anything after the duration, that also happens. Right. Headache is the other common one. Any sentient recipient of this effect is considered to have a sickness of rank 1 + 1 per 3 casting levels. Read intention. Caster gets a sense of specified recipient's surface thoughts, their immediate motivations and strategies. For the duration, reactions against any primary actions performed by the recipient against the caster receive a +4 step bonus. That's significant.
That is significant.
Right, it's a duration thing too.
Yeah.
Transference. For the duration of the effect, the recipient of this effect is permitted to communicate telepathically with any other recipient of this effect.
So.
And last but not least, is Unbosom. On each turn of the duration, the caster may telepathically posit a question to any recipient of this effect. A recipient may perform a will check with a -1 step penalty, and then -1 more per 5 casting levels to avoid answering the question. However, the same question may be asked again on any following turn.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah, it's like a super interrogative thing.
I feel like the one so far that really stuck out to me was the arcane missile, the magic missile,
Starting
because
out.
I just need a bread and butter offensive thing.
Sure, yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of really great things to grow into that I'm really excited about, but if I bind that now, I'm screwed.
Right,
I
yeah.
need
For now, it's about getting your character in the best sort of fighting format,
so now I'm
and then
between,
the whole thing about this system is all the fun stuff that you want to do is real close and real nearby to what you want to do for your character, but it's
yeah,
just going to take time to develop it.
right
So
now.
where are you thinking? Where are you thinking at for psionics?
I'm somewhere between key and telepathy.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah, they're both really cool.
I I might go with telepathy only because I noticed in the key powers the offensive stuff is locked at the uncommon level. There's
Hmm.
some offensive stuff and there's some kind of crowd control stuff in telepathy that is a benefit for me now.
Sure.
I think that's where I'm going to go.
Telepathy.
Does that sound like sound reasoning?
Pretty sound reasoning. Pretty sound reasoning. So basically, now we are.
I have 6 left,
You have.
right?
Yep. You have 6 left right now. So
Oh,
at
I'm
this,
kind of stuck between. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say at this point, it's okay. So it's let's take a look at this real quick because there's a lot of spells. I'm sorry, powers in telepathy that are free action stuff, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at that real quick. Um, you might need to have some of those memorized to actually use them, right?
Right.
Because that's something kind of new in the system. Prior to this, there was only primary action spells and reaction spells, or arcana.
Right.
Um, and now there are general action arcana and pre-action arcana also.
Mhm.
So here's casting actions. Arcane reactions, general and free actions. These arcana cannot be cast from an inscribed form like a scroll or tome, and instead must be committed to memory in order to perform the casting. They require a certain amount of stamina per casting level to cast, and are typically quite taxing to cast as such. This, what?
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Mark that page down.
Market Zero.
Mark it, dude.
This is, I don't even, I think it was supposed to say material component, but I have no idea. This is not a considered, is not, these are, it should say, these are considered reactions, general and free actions for all intents and purposes, and may trigger other feats and abilities as such. That's what it should say. This is considered, yada, 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 yada.
Sure.
So, you got to keep that in mind. You might want to save those 6 for that stuff because each one is going to cost you. So now committing things to memory, right? So that's important for you. Committing to memory. To commit a common arcana to memory is going to cost you 2 character points.
Shit.
Commit a, but you'll never need a book for it ever again.
Yeah.
That's just a thing for it. And then as the more uncommon stuff costs more, right?
Right. So, as I stand right now, I could commit.
You
3
don't have to
spells.
commit any of that to memory, though. I mean, the free action, general, and reaction arcana you do, but all the other ones you can cast it just fine without. But committing it for memory is so you don't need it. And the other thing is that you can only so like when you combine 2 spells together, one of them has to be committed to memory, at least one.
So the benefit, if I were to invest 2 CP right now into arcane missile, the only benefit I get from that is down the line, I basically get to I can combine. That could be my combining force because I have it memorized.
So right. So, but here's the other thing: is When you pick a when you pick when you buy any triad and skill up a skill, you get to pick one free specialization. You get that for free. Okay?
Right.
And usually specializations cost around 2 character points. So that's why the common arcana costs 2 character points. It's similar. So for instance, and it actually tells you in the book how much they all cost. For performance artist, are you thinking musical instrument, or are you thinking orator, or where are you thinking going that?
You know, I've changed my mind. I'm going to go with musical instrument.
Musical instrument. Musical instrument, any particular kind?
Probably. I would like for it to be guitar because I play guitar.
So a lute. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that's your free specialization. Just the same way, the specializations in casting for casting spells and arcana in general, your specializations for these casting skills are the spells themselves. So when you specialize in a spell, you are committing it to memory. So for instance, you could get Arcane Missile right now, even if it's spelled correctly.
That also cost me.
And then that's done. And that doesn't cost you any points whatsoever.
Oh, okay. Well then,
because it's your free. When you purchase this skill, you get one specialization for free. Any skill, just the same way performing arts has specializations. You pick one of those. Coming down here, martial weapons, right? Do you want slashing martial weapons or piercing martial weapons? Which one do you want first? I'm guessing slashing. Piercing does more penetration but less damage, and slashing does moderate damage and moderate penetration.
Get slashing then.
Slashing. Okay. So slashing. Slashing. So that's that one. Absorb doesn't have any specializations. You don't have to worry about that.
Sure.
These don't either. Psionics, telepathy. You could pick one of these to commit to memory right off the rip. And I'll have to give you a selection of spells. Usually, what I do with my spells is I'll go over to my equipment sheet over here, and I'll say, okay, so here are my enchantment spells. So this is like your spell book kind of situation.
Yep.
And then I would go put in, so Arcane Missile was definitely high up on the list. And I'm guessing, especially if I spell it correctly for the second time. Missile. That's how my son says it. One of my sons says missile, the other son says missile. Whatever. Maybe Durate was the other one. That might be kind of fun for you. Right? But anyways, and then and what was let's go ahead here. Let's figure out what your spells are real quick.
Okay.
Okay? Let's just do that. Well, it'll be real quick.
Sure.
So I'm gonna roll a D4.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any. There might be some rules actually for beginning spells. Let me look at that real quick. Just for fun. Gaining new arcana. D4 is then rolled for each school they have invested CP. The player then picks a number of common arcana equal to the roll for that school. The GM may also award any other arcana they wish, but they will always be in an inscribed form. So one thing I'm going to play around with doing is I'm going to roll a D4, and then whatever that skill is modified by, I'm going to give you that modifier also.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to roll a D4.
Now, is it possible before you do this
Hmm?
for me to change my modifier to
Yes,
insight so that I
that's
can
fine.
get the insight modifier bonus? Thank you.
Yeah, well, you mean you mean
The
charisma?
charisma. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and we can take into account if if you buy feats that raise that also and raise your modifier, you can get a bonus also. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Hmm. So there's a. Okay, do you want this for your enchantment spells? This roll for your enchantment spells or your telepathy?
Let's go down the line. Let's make it enchantment.
What's that? Enchantment? Okay, so I rolled a
Yes.
4.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so
Damn.
you're gonna get 4 plus whatever your modifier is.
That would be on my.
And also another, I don't know if you can see it. It's another 4.
So, if it's okay with
So you're
you,
gonna get max. You're gonna get maximum for those.
I already changed my enchantment to charisma.
Okay. So that it's important to note here, real quick, that it doesn't. So if you're gonna have to do that stuff, this is a good thing that you did that. So you have to tell the sheet. So you change that to charisma, but this function still sees whatever it was before that. Okay. So we have to change that function. Can you see it in the screen? So this function is currently car G8. If we go over to car, G8, it was intelligence, but now we're changing it to charisma. So it's got to be G11. So we have to go over here and change this thing to G11. There we go. So now that is currently set up proper.
I
Okay.
put that green too to reflect the fact that it got changed.
Yeah, that's fine. Um, that sounds awesome. Okay, so that's changed, but there's one other thing we should do here is your artistry is going to be your trade. So these all
Oh,
get a +1. So we're just going to add that on to the end of the function, right? Because they're going to get a +1 step bonus each
yep.
one. There we go.
And then, so now I got +4 in both, but my rank and roll is 9 and 11, which means how many so now how many spells do I get to know, or what's my book look like?
You'll get 4 plus whatever your modifiers are. So 4 plus 2, 4 plus, and if you can get, let's pick your feats out real quick.
Okay.
So picking your feats, this is kind of like the final step of character creation. I know this is all took long, but it is a demo, and
You're fine. You're fine.
when I make characters in 15 minutes. I'm just like plop 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 plop. You know
Oh,
what I
you're
mean?
fine.
If you know what you're doing, like it's this very easy to do so. You know what I mean?
You're perfectly fine.
Okay, so let's go ahead and find some more feats. Artistry's already taken. You're going to get some spellcasting feats. Those are
Sweet.
all really nice. Let's go ahead and look at sorcery first, though.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
and I think I already know the best one. The 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 one I would recommend, maybe.
Maybe, baby. Yeah.
So
Uh,
serious feats for sorcery. You're going to get one of these. Okay.
Share.
Perspicacious stamina is the one I would suggest. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, um, it's a quick way to get some bonus stamina, and
Oh, yeah.
you would get 5 stamina from that. But actually, what would be better is if you didn't have sorcery, because every one of the mystic trade schools have that stamina bonus. So, for instance, priestly ones have obstinate stamina. Character gains stamina equal to half their will rounded down instead of intelligence, right? And the monk ones, they get inscrutable stamina, so they get equal to half their insight. So you would get, 7 bonus stamina.
Well,
But
can you put this on the screen share just so we can all be looking at it?
Sorry. Did screen share die?
No, it's I'm looking at the we're looking at the character sheet.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I'm not good at pronouncing that word.
Perspicacious. Isn't it an awesome word?
Perspicacious stamina. Um,
It'll be a
that's
quick
not
way for you to pick up 5 stamina, I guess. But
bad.
maybe actually,
The
piggyback is kind of fun. Um,
the warden might be kind of cool.
tight weave. Yeah, the warden. Your every level you're going to get a bonus to your range, but you're not good at counterspell yet.
Yeah,
Honestly, what it's looking like here is that sorcery might be a good. It might be a good one for you to pick an attribute. So, um, you can pick triad feats. I'm sorry, discipline feats. So the discipline feats here are bonus to attribute, bonus to stamina, or stamina recovery.
I'm gonna go with. Oh, ooh, okay, hold on.
I would
That's
do. I would earmark an attribute for.
on switching screens here. Got
You
okay.
want to go? You want
So
me to go back? I
no,
apologize.
no, I'm looking at my stuff here. I tell you what, there's something that's screaming to me about the attribute score increase.
Hmm.
Uh, my willpower, my intellect are about the same. Um, I'm kind of thinking I'm kind of tempted to throw the +1 in my willpower because I think if I do that, it gets me.
You'll get another modifier. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That
but you
seems
can
like a
also do the same. You can also do charisma and get up to 3. But yeah,
oh
uh,
damn.
you can also do dex and get a +1 to your damage. You can also buy more feats in the other triads that do that too.
Yeah.
Throw it in the willpower for now.
Yeah, I all right, let's do that. All right, so we've marked that down as
Did you do the willpower?
yes I did.
It's not showing up on mine. 13, right? There we go.
Yes. I marked it down there as a dice just as a tracking discipline +1 willpower.
Okay, yeah. So over here we go to our feats, and you can write down will +1. There we go. Keep track of that.
Right.
Okay. We already know what this one is. Let's look at these ones last. Let's check out your martial feats first. Martial and that. Okay, so whip, whippy-doo, whippy-doo. Check some contests. Let's go to martial. Lots of stuff, lots of information, afflictions, further. There we go. So defense, we'll do defense first.
Okay.
Okay, so meat shield is pretty standard. Another one would be reflexes, number of reactions per turn. Oh, so this is actually this changed. It reduces
Yeah.
the step
This
penalty.
yeah.
This might be cool. Anytime a multi-check is successfully rolled for a reaction, recover 1 stamina plus 1 more for 6 triad levels. So if you do a double check on your, so say you had meat shield, or say you didn't, maybe you just did a double check. Maybe you did a double check absorb, then you would gain a bonus stamina at the end. something. Um, that's kind of maybe later level. Defensive
Yeah,
stance is nice.
well, the way as I'm kind of looking over this stuff, I feel like, especially an early on creator character here, I think simple is better. You know,
And you
you
could
have
just go with another attribute. You can go with plus bonus to your insight.
I kind of like the meat shield one actually.
Heat shield's nice. So like
Yeah,
you would get +2. So absorb gives you +4 in DR. Okay. You don't have to unready your primary actions.
right,
Okay. It doesn't interrupt them. So you can do this while spellcasting. Right.
right.
Uh,
Great for
and then so you
concentration.
would get +6 in DR with a successful meat shield at this level.
I
At
kind of like
ninth level, you would get +8 in DR.
that. That I think that +6 damage resistance is fucking key right there, man.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna, I'm
Okay.
gonna,
So
I'm gonna, I'm gonna pull a trigger on that.
pulling the trigger, meat shield. So we're just going to go over here to feats under defense, meat shield. There we go. And now let's take a look at Marshall. Marshall. Sorry, I just wrote that down.
Right.
Marshall. All right. There's an option to. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yes, you are. Okay. So
Uh,
there's an option with brute there to change the damage modifier
oh well,
from
no,
dex to
that's
strength, but that's
cool.
not going to help you very much right now.
Yeah, it's cool.
Uh, Fury is kind of nice, actually, but I don't know if that doesn't scream much to me for your character.
Yeah,
Um,
the grappler might not be a bad one, but it's
you
just
don't
gotta
have any
be.
grappling.
Yeah, that's a good point. Uh,
Let's
I
see
you know
here.
eventually I did want to get into redirect, so I could kind of get the deflect one just kind of to
But that you might want to get that down the road anyways when you're actually doing that. Right now, you could get something that's beneficial to your character, like a +1 to your insight, or a +1 to your dex, or
yeah, this one might be a discipline buy on this one. I think.
hmm oh, another
Uh,
discipline, yeah.
yeah, I think that's what. Yeah,
So
because it's all about.
the discipline feats for this one are so here we go, ambidextrous.
Oh,
That's yeah, grip bonus, um, and also the other ones, but those are also in the discipline feats. So you can pick up ambidextrous.
the ambidextrous secondary attack source. Does that mean? What does that really mean?
So like offhand. So
Oh, okay.
so let me sell you this. So what if you had a sword in one hand and you casted one-handed in the other hand?
Like full on Skyrim mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually kind of what I was thinking when you said that. I just want to make sure that was offensive, not defensive. Like it's the secondary attack source coming at me. I am the secondary attack source.
hmm
And
When you so your
yeah,
offhand penalties, to do a secondary primary action, you're going to get 3-step penalties. So you're going to have a -4. Okay. So when you take ambidexterity, it's going to reduce the penalty by 1 step. Okay. And that is going to reduce it to 2-step penalties, which is a -2. So your penalty for the roll will go from -4 to -2 by picking
I
this
mean,
feat. And at level 8, then it'll
right.
go to a -1. And and at level 16, it'll go to 0.
I mean, really, the way I'm thinking about this is that I'm casting, and then if there's ever somewhat, and I mean, I cast. I forget if magic missile what the duration on it is. If it's instant, or if it takes. I don't know. It just seems like this is a great thing to have in my toolbox if ever needed.
I think
We're
so.
talking. We were talking the other day about having some tools in your toolbox, and you may not use them all the time, but I think this is a great option. I'm going to pull a trigger on the ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous. Okay. I mean, he's Barty, so it's time to be Barty, I guess. So let's go ahead and throw that in there. Here. And
I've been
okay.
also putting this on the feet table on the front sheet. So while you're doing the back sheet, I'm doing the air sheet.
Oh, you are
Yeah,
nice.
fuck, we're a team.
We are all. Oh, yeah, but you got to understand something. I got to show you something here real quick. So meat shield. We're gonna go to fan feet core. They're all in here already.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you want to be a real team member? Come over here.
Ha!
Grab. Yeah, they're all in here. So just grab this.
Oh, that's funny. You want to be
Copy.
a real team member? You could do your job right.
You could do your job right, so I don't have to do it for you.
All right, meat shield.
Take
All
that
right, yeah.
meat shield. Grab him, and then we're just gonna paste special values only. Blam. Now it's all in there. Now, in when you do this, if you can actually calculate what the bonus you're going to get from what's in parentheses. So this gives you +4 from skill, and then +1, and then +1 per 3 levels. So that's why you get 5 right here.
Right.
So sorry, I pasted values only, so it didn't bring along the color. Let me change the color back to red. So that's already set up. There you go. Offhand penalties are reduced 1 step. So there you go. So you can go ahead and put those in. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up now the arcane casting discipline feats. Those are fun. Those are a lot of fun. And that's why I save the best for last. You're going to get one. You're going to get 2. 1 for 1 and whoop, whoop, whoop. Here at the end of all things.
Right.
So the ones that are jumping out at me here are one-handed casting.
Which makes sense compared to what I literally just
Compared, it's basically based on what you just did. That makes a whole lot of sense. One-handed casting. Another one that might pop out here is armored casting. So you can wear leather armor.
No, I mean,
You're going fully unarmored.
well, so the good news is that I put some effort in that absorb thing, which I think.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that so think about it this way. You know, if you have 2DR leather armor or something like that, right? And then you do absorb, you have 6DR. If you do meat shield, you're gonna have 7,
8,
8
right?
DR, 8 DR, because this actually has to get changed to +6.
The real question is that as a newbie, like, what do I need now, and what can I wait for, right?
I would
I
do the
need,
one-handed casting right now because that's kind of like core character stuff, I think.
yeah, and then just
Uh,
hope
so
I
there's
can
a
live.
lot here actually. Mana salvage is significant. When casting is interrupted, recover 1 stamina plus 1 more per 4 triad levels to a maximum of the number AP reserved for the casting action. So like you can gain stamina back whenever you're interrupted,
Right,
which happens whenever you fail a roll also.
right.
Here's a
That,
fun one. Mystic reaction. Caster can combo an arcane reaction with a non-arcane reaction.
yeah,
Was battle mages, where you can combine arcane effects with a melee action.
I definitely feel like that. I'm going to be spending a lot of points in this category. There's a lot of great stuff here for me.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff in here that can work out.
So, I mean, I think again, what's essential today? Armor casting, one-hand casting. It's
One-handed casting for sure.
all right.
For
Let's do it.
sure.
I'm good to
Uh,
it.
and then I would put a pin on armored casting based on if you get any reactions, arcane reactions, you might want to combine that arcane reaction with your absorb,
Right,
right?
right.
That's like it depends, like confusion. That confusion, I don't know. I guess you
Yeah,
want to
no,
have to. Maybe that's not a good example.
I totally get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think this is I think we're going to go one-handed casting, and then we're just gonna have to come back to this and spend more points eventually.
yeah. I would do armored casting.
Right now,
Yeah, and you get leather armor. We'll get you one DR. So that way, when you just roll a skill check straight up, you're gonna get 5 DR, which is nice.
yeah,
When you do meat shield, you can get 7 DR.
definitely keep my character alive.
It'll help.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good con score. My overall health is 39, so he's not completely dissimilar to the guys that we've been
Hmm.
playtesting. And then
So
I
there's
have the high DPR. So
there's one thing you don't have is an ability to generate action points into your primary actions. You don't have that.
yeah,
It's something you can build into, but you don't have it right now.
yeah, I'm definitely a very exhausting character.
And well,
My AP is very low.
right. But
I'm
that's
putting
pretty
myself.
much that's building a character in a nutshell. So just to go over everything that we did, we filled in all of this. Hold on here. Let
Well,
me bring.
we forgot to do psionics. I think.
Um, yeah, that's you get one feat. You get one of those discipline feats uh, for enchantment, and you get the other one for. So you get two. You can get armored cast. That I figured we would just pull the trigger on armored casting. It's up to you
Oh,
though.
oh wait. So so hold on. Good.
So if we go
Good
over
question.
to here, if we go over here, you get so under here we're going to go one-handed, one hand casting,
Right.
okay, and then over here you can go armored casting if you wanted.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I'm getting both. Holy crap!
Yeah, you can get both.
Wow, I got my cake and ate it
Hmm.
too. That's incredible.
Now I can give you studded leather, which is 2 DR, but it's going to incur a -1 step penalty to your casting actions.
Is there a different form of armor I could have that would
At
be?
level 4, when psionics is at level 4, that'll go. You'll be able to upgrade your armor, and you'll have no step penalties. When psionics is level 8, you'll be able to go up to DR3 armor. When psionics is level 12, you'll be able to go up to DR4 armor without any penalties.
So, is there another type of armor, like boiled armor or boiled leather, or is it just studded leather?
I mean, it's there's all kinds of whatever armor you want, but the main thing is the DR factor. So right
Yeah.
now you have so when you're casting, you have if you're casting an armor normally, you have you get 1 step penalty for each armor DR ADR that you don't get any step penalties for natural DR. But for
Right.
any armor DR, you're going to get 1 step penalty for. So what that feat does is mitigate the step penalties by 1 step. So 1 step, and then one more step every 4 levels. So at 4th level of psionics, that's going to go from 1 steps to 2 steps, which means you can upgrade your armor and get better armor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but let me go through real quick exactly everything that we did. We filled in all the character information for the most part. Actually, one thing that I'm changing on the sheet is this is going to change from nationality to affiliation. I'm just going to do that right now. I'm going to change that on the actual character sheet because I want it to be less. Who cares? Some people don't even care what nation they're from. They care about what group they're from, right? Or what their affiliation is.
Right.
So, anyways, fill in all this. We're going to do more of this later, because this is pretty typical stuff. Actually, I guess we could do status real quick. Let's do status and languages. Yep. Status. Might as well. And then we'll be done. There were status effects. I guess it's way up. And here. Roll on a D10 to see what you are.
Oh, God.
It's that simple, folks. Here we go. You ready?
Let's do it.
Destitute, poor, content, fortunate. You are poor.
Oh, it makes sense.
Right, yeah. So,
Now, does that affect my starting money and what the stuff I can
yeah,
buy?
yeah. Precisely, that's kind of the idea. Your languages, obviously common. And then you get bonus languages for modifiers. I believe you're going to get. Well, but what modifiers? I can't remember which modifiers. And you'll get common too, I guess. But being poor, you probably shouldn't get anything. We'll just leave it there for now. But it is important to note that you can get bonus languages and stuff for extra bonus modifiers. So after filling in all this information, we then figured out how we were going to generate our attributes. Generated our attributes, okay. And then when we did that, that filled out most of this information in this area of the sheet. Oh, we did forget weapons. So we can go over here real quick and pick a weapon. There's characteristic weapons. Yes, I even have all of this stuff in here. So you're thinking blades?
Slashing martial, yeah.
Slashing martial, Kopesh, katana, saber. Oh wait, I mean we can change that saber from a martial to a, or from a melee to a martial if you want.
S would be slashing, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's piercing.
How about I'm just gonna go with a.
I mean we can change any of these. There's just
Yeah. What's a butterfly sword?
they're just cool paired swords.
Oh, that would probably be offhand, main hand type of stuff. I'm gonna go with a cutlass. I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll change it to martial.
No, it's okay.
Well, it has to be martial if you're going to get.
Yes.
So
yeah,
these are. So this is a skill you're using martial weapons.
Yeah.
So we're just going to pick this, right? And actually, wait a second. Why does that say size? Oh, right, because there we go. Copy size 3 because it's in your one hand, and then we'll change the name from Copish to Cutlass because a cutlass can be considered a martial weapon also.
I don't want you to break the system or anything.
There's no. This isn't the system. This is just ease of. There we go. Cutlass.
DM decision.
There we go. Well, I mean, it is, but it could be either. That was just for ease of access. That's just so you don't have to do that. Another thing is hey, maybe you want to have a dagger on hand too, or a knife.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're offering, I'm buying.
Oh, that's right. You're poor, so you're not going to have all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
You're poor shit. Okay, so and then what we did. Oh, you already put these all in here. So what you can do is here you can hit equals, right? Go over to the triad, and while that's up, click on the box, and so now when that goes up, it'll go up. So hit equal on the space, go over to triads, click the martial, go to martial, weapons, roll, click on that box, hit enter, and now that'll be on there. Right? And so you do that for all these skills. And then as you raise these skills up over here by spending character points, it'll automatically update over here.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm totally certified because this character sheet is the bomb.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's got all the things already written to where all you have to do is just copy and paste them into where you need to go. So for instance, here equals, and here we already have martial weapons. So we're going to just put that right there. All right. Okay, so then what we did was after we had our attributes in, we went and picked our triads, right? To sort of flesh out what our character was. We spent our character points in the triads, right? Which are located here. So the total, we still have 6 left over that we're gonna throw into your specializations. Okay.
Right.
And then after we picked our skills or invested in our skills, that told us what our triad levels were. And then we picked our feats for each of the triads that were at least level 3 or 5 or any other odd number. So if this was a 5, you would have got another bonus feat here. And then once we had our feats and put everything in, that's pretty much it. You got to make sure that feats, see these red parts or whatever, the feats level up also. So it's important, and this one actually did level up because you're 4 plus 1 from the skill, which is normally plus 5, but you get plus 1 more per 3 levels since it's level 3. They're now plus 6. So the feats also level up, so it's important to do that as well. So to level up the feats more, you just basically got to train up your skills.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's it with character creation. Now, we had to go the long route because Paint Monkey had to decide to do multiple casting. But honestly, there's everything's in here that you need to do exactly what you wanted to do. You know.
I feel
you're doing a lot.
You know, he's got a little bit of weaponry going on. He's got some magic going on. He's got the performing spells. Mm-hmm. We know that the headroom upon where he's going to grow, including stuff that I haven't even bought yet.
So let me ask you this: do you feel like this is closer to the character that you wanted to create with respect to other systems?
Oh yeah, I said that from the beginning. Like it would be impossible to do this in 5th edition. I feel like going through this, I definitely feel extremely happy with where this is, and I feel like aside from just being a greedy son of a bitch and asking for more things to buy, this is really this is the character as he starts out to be, and I'm liking it. And then I know how he's going to grow and the things I'm going to buy to the point where at min max he's going to be exactly who I want him to be. But where he is now is exactly who he needs to be today.
Right, yeah, and he will grow in time, and especially when you play this character now in my online demos and test games. After every session that we play, I'm going to give you 10 character points to put towards character creation with any character that you play. If it's a demo character or your own character or whatever, I will give you 10 character points after any session or demo that we do. And that goes out to anybody who plays. If so, any of you watchers out there, if you guys want to play along, I need players because I want to test. I want to do more testing, and there are people that are getting. I am generating an interest finally. I just the other day somebody was like, "Oh, we're downloading the book, and my whole group's going to try it out here." I'm like, "Wow, yay!"
Really
so I felt it really important to get this character creation tutorial out there, especially just for those guys. So hopefully they'll be able to kind of check this out and gain some insights from it as well. But like I said, if when we do a testing session, I want to test raising your skill points as well. Now, 10 character points is a lot. Like I said, that's 10 hours of play, so you're going to get that in 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours most likely.
Yeah, that's what we call power leveling.
Yeah, now
Well, I mean, it's for testing, and also, I mean, it's gonna happen. You're gonna die.
Yeah, I'm gonna try
So
hard not to.
right, and I think what happens, what we're gonna do when characters die, is maybe we'll just start them back to their original, to
Yeah,
level one kind of
kind of
situation.
Dark Souls it basically.
Kind of, yeah, yeah, right, yeah. So we'll kind of go that route. So hopefully Tarquinius will make it all the way to being an epic level, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So anything else you want to add, Justin, before we let everybody go? All one person
Oh,
watching.
I'm really happy with this. I'm excited to
Awesome,
play.
awesome. That's that makes me feel good. I aim to please when it comes to creating characters. I want you to be able to create whatever you can think up in this system. Whatever you can dream up, I want you to be able to do it. That's when we play these characters. It's to get out of our skin. It's not to I want you to be almost heroic. I want you to be stoic right out of the gates. You know what I mean? And
Well,
that's
it
what makes
goes
it
with
fun.
it goes with what I've always told people when I DM. It's like there's only two rules, and that is that the first rule is that just be cooperative with our people, and then second rule is you are playing someone worthy of note. You're a hero or you're
Hmm.
a villain, so assume that role. Be heroic, be stoic, like you just said.
Hmm.
So
Well,
yeah,
first you got to be
there you
stoic,
go.
and then you'll be heroic.
Yes, yeah, sure, in that order.
Something like that. So
Right.
anyways, thanks everybody for watching. I hope this helped you both navigate the dynamic character creator. Later down the road, I'll show you guys how to make creatures as well with the same, because I have a creature creator sheet also, which has all that stuff in it too. So down the road, I'll show you that as well. So again, thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you have